I'd like to welcome now Julia Steets. She is the director of the Global Public Policy Institute in Berlin. A very good day. What's driving this development?
Well, you said it in your introduction. It's really a political dispute between Morocco and Spain and the EU. That's a very long-standing conflict on Western Sahara. It's a territory whose status is disputed. Morocco claims it as its own, but there is a very powerful independence movement called the Polisario Front. And back in April, Spain admitted the head of the Polisario Front, that's Brahim Ghali, for medical treatment, and also gave him assurances that while he was in Spain, he would not be legally prosecuted for alleged human rights violations. Now, this is something that Morocco is obviously very unhappy about. And even though there hasn't been, or at least I haven't seen, a formal statement that links the two, it does seem very plausible that Morocco opening the border is really a way of putting pressure on Spain and the EU. And so we are in a situation where we really see these refugees and migrants being used as pawns in a much larger political game that has really nothing to do with themselves.
So do we know for a fact that Morocco opened the border? I mean, doesn't Spain have border patrol?
Normally, we have a situation where Morocco controls a lot of the exit. There are also police forces from Spain on the ground, and as we've heard, they are reinforcing these troops. But we really saw a change in terms of the Moroccan side no longer trying to restrain people and to prevent them from leaving.
So what's the message that Rabat is sending to Madrid and the EU at large?
Well, I think that if you really look at the larger picture, it tells us something about the overall strategy we have of dealing with migrants and refugees at the moment. At the moment, the main part of our strategy is to close down the fortress Europe. And that really is problematic because either you try to do this closing down yourself. This is something that we see in Greece, for example, and where we see then these pushbacks happening of many, many people, which are not just nasty, but plain illegal. They're also very problematic because it means that Europe loses its credibility when it tries to ask other countries to treat asylum seekers properly.
Right. So just if I forgive me for interrupting you, is this also just another, the EU is essentially outsourcing its migrant policy. It wants to keep its hands clean. It outsources it to places like Morocco, like Turkey, and then says, well, you do our dirty job.
That's exactly the other alternative. So if you do not want to do these pushbacks yourself, you can do these pacts with countries that are transit countries for a lot of migrants or refugees, and indeed outsource the dirty work. But as we see now, that really has the drawback that it makes you vulnerable for political pressure, almost blackmail from these countries that then use the pressure of migrants, the pressure of refugees potentially coming as a political argument on completely unrelated issues.
All right, Julia Steets, director of the Global Policy Institute here in Berlin. Thank you so much for your insights.
Thank you.